It was a hot ass mess.
Tell me your name.
Stephanie and Stuart Arevalo.
Well, my name's James Staley.
Damien Frostbrew.
Just super excited because Rage Against the Machine was playing. Korn, James Brown, was it James Brown and George Clinton? It was a whole bunch of like different DMX, Dave Matthews, and it's like a whole bunch of those super, super awesome artists, right?
So many amazing bands that were playing. It was literally every band that I listened to at that time in my life was playing there. I wanted to go because, when I was younger, I watched the original Woodstock, the video, of the original Woodstock and the different bands that played there.
Well, obviously there were a lot of bands that I wanted to see there, all in one place, all over the course of the same show. So that's one motivating factor. But we all lived in Italy at the time, so coming back to the States for anything was always a huge treat for us. But also just the fact that a big part of it was seeing the Woodstock '94 show and what an incredible show that was, the way it worked out. And then just being able to go to, it was a once in a lifetime experience. You only had one chance. And if you were going to go, you had to just take your chances and go.
The way they marketed it and everything, it was really kind of, just really taking advantage of the consumer. There was really high price. Everything was like super high price food items and tickets to get in, and you weren't allowed to bring food in. And the state of everything, given the cost of everything, wasn't that great. They didn't have enough porta potties. There was a real big issue with what was going on as far as like the event and what the people had paid for, and so there was a lot of unrest about that.
It started off pretty good and got progressively worse. It was a situation where there generally wasn't enough security. It ended up being a lot hotter than anyone anticipated. There wasn't enough water, but just resources in general. Over the course of the 3 days, it went from being like really kind of enthusiastic and like everyone was very happy, everyone was looking out for one another, to kind of becoming like just overridden with like angst and aggression.
Trying to go to see certain bands, like I thought I was going to be able to catch a lot of those artists because there was a lot of artists, but the way they had it set up, it was in like this abandoned hangar, and so one stage was set right here and the other stage was set way across. I mean, this thing was humongous, right? So there was no way you're going to be catching any bands on time because it was like you had to walk.
So, I've never ever in my life planned anything of that magnitude, and so it's kind of hard for me to judge someone else's the job that they did taking care of that. I think that some aspects of it were incredibly well planned. They had good medical facilities set up. They were kind of prepared for almost anything. But I think they were ill prepared for the heat, and they were ill prepared for the level of hydration that people would need. All in all, I'd say they did pretty good. I'd give them a B.
Well, definitely the promoters. You could feel that they didn't care. They didn't care about what was happening. They didn't care about what was going on. People were getting hurt, and girls were getting hurt left and right. People were passing out. I seen a few, like did have some first aid tents, but they could have had some chill out tents where there's air conditioning and things like that, and they did not care.
But it was designed to, you know, for people to go there and enjoy and be unified, and I think that that did happen. I think that greed played a role in it. I think greed played a huge role in it. Lack of organization. You know, they had a different team that was brought in, and you know, things just kind of got out of hand. It got, you know. No, when I got there, you know, it was advertised that you couldn't bring any food in or anything like that, and you know, and I was a little bit savvy. I was trying to sneak in some canned foods, you know what I mean, and because it's 3 days, how are you gonna eat, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to buy, you know, $10, you know, slices of pizza, right? So I decided I was gonna bring in some canned foods, and they, of course, they have like people with metal detectors at the front. You know, and they're checking for weapons or whatever, but it's funny because you just hear these metal detectors going off, and you're like, oh man, and you're not allowed to take food in. Like, oh, these guys are gonna catch me with my cans of food and take it away, you know?
Okay, so Rage Against the Machine is like one of my favorite bands, and at that time, like my friends, when they got there the first night, their band was Korn, so my band was Rage Against the Machine. But I probably had a lot to drink. I probably, you know, I was ready for Rage Against the Machine to come on, and there was this beautiful, mysterious man who I did take a picture of, and I just so happened, I was like, hey, you are beautiful, can you please take me to the front? I just want to see Rage Against the Machine. I gotta see Zach De La Rocha. And the guy, he took me by the hand. He's like, I got you. I go to the, you know, the mosh pit. Is that what they call it?
The one thing that I remember more than anything is that obviously the reason that you know that me and my friends went to the show was because your mom was with us. And the first night Rage Against the Machine played, and your mom just disappeared. She didn't stick with the group. She just went off on her own. And apparently she ended up in like the first like 10 rows of Rage Against the Machine, maybe even the mosh pit. And we weren't sure we were going to see her again.
A hot ass mess, yes. It was a disaster. I mean, people got hurt. Destruction of property. Security was a disaster. They weren't doing their jobs. They were out partying. Excessive drug use everywhere. You know, people passing out and, you know, ecstasy and all that stuff.
No, not at all. I think just they failed in a few regards. Specifically, providing enough cooling and water shade for people. It had an impact on the music festival scene, most likely, but not enough. You still see examples of people trying to put on big shows like this, like Fire Festival, where it just collapses or they descend into chaos. Look, I mean, anytime you put that many people together in a somewhat confined space with limited resources, there's always the potential for people to kind of lose control. You know, people have a tendency when they're in large groups to act the way the group acts.
I don't know if it was a failure. I mean, I saw every band that I wanted to see. You know, I paid my money and I saw the bands. You know, and I had a good time. Now I realized that wasn't that experience wasn't shared by all. You know, people were injured. Or, you know, if people died, I don't remember, but that was my experience. So for me, it was not a failure. For me, it was just, you know, yeah, some stuff went down, and you know, we as a society hopefully grew from that.